G'day new starters, welcome back. I have no doubt that, like me, you have been troubled this week by the news of the disaster of Malaysian Air Flight 17 over the Ukraine, shot down apparently by insurgent separatists. For me, it has been an odd sense that I've been struggling with. At first, there was that hardened almost reaction where another news item of tragedy happens all the time. And then as the story has unfolded and the recognition that that this really was an uncalled for, tragic event that shouldn't happen to people traveling for holidays and business in the way that it has, really has begun to cause me to feel a sense of real pain over this issue, as I'm sure it has for you. And it's difficult to put reason to that feeling, but there's an awareness that that you can identify with those stories of those people simply traveling, as I said, for holidays or work, and then their lives are over. And then the stories begin to come out of the people impacted by that tragedy, like the family that had lost family members in the event 4 months ago when the Malaysian Airlines disappeared, and had family members on this flight as well. It just seems almost bizarrely impossible, but yet that is a reality. Or the couple that sent their children home from holidays early so they could start school with their grandfather on the flight, and they decided to stay in Europe for a couple of days extra to have some holiday time on their own, and their father and children killed in that moment. It must be terribly difficult to deal with. And as you begin to relate to some of those people and those stories in some way become your own story, the troubling is increased. And I think I probably tried to process that in different ways this week, from rationalizing it, and I actually looked at the statistics. 10 times as many people are killed every single day on in road accidents around the world. 10 times. But we don't seem to, we don't have as much response to those issues. But despite that process, there is the reality that we are confronted in this situation with the unfairness, the tragedy of life. And how do you make sense of that? Well, I'm not sure that it actually is possible to make sense of that. In fact, I'm sure it's not possible. There is no sense. But here's where I am reminded. Here's what I am reminded, that in a couple of interviews, at least twice, I heard people say about different people that were on that plane something akin to the effect that they loved well. They lived their lives in such a way that people around them knew that they were loved. And the only positive thing that comes out of these events are words like that. The recognition that life, no matter how long we live, 100 years, still a very, very brief and insignificant time. But to have people identify us as people of love goes to the very core of the reason for existence. And to me, it speaks of the grander message of the reality of God's love at work in our lives, that we are able to rest on the reality of His love transforming us, so that our lives get to be remembered as lives of love. And despite how difficult this circumstance is, as any tragedy is to process, there is this freshness, this reminder that life is to love. And I want to hold on to that this week. I want to take a hold of that and make that again a central idea in my life this week. And I invite you to do the same. Well, our prayers go out to that family, that God's presence and grace would be with them during these times. All those families that are grieving over this event, that we surely can pray for. Thank you for being with me this week. Talk to you next time.